Hedera Hbar, we have a $4 billion major announcement, and this is a great opportunity that Hedera has now linked up with another partnership, a real world use case that I've got for you guys. We are also going to be talking about the new tweet that Charles Adkins has put out today about a concept that can be used on the Hedera platform. In addition to this, we're also going to be having a look at some clips of a video regarding Abrdn, and we're just going to take a look as to what they are currently doing to integrate Hedera, and of course the price action of Hbar today. All I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. So I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. The first big announcement that we currently have for the new year, now it is January the 1st, is that Red Swan will be building on Hedera. So if you don't already know, Red Swan is essentially a marketplace with tokenized commercial real estate. So they deal with properties, and what they're going to do is tokenize those properties so that they can make properties much more liquid and provide a secondary market to where individual investors will be able to buy a proportion of that property instead of buying the whole property, and that will allow for the owner to be able to release their equity. And in addition to this, make real estate more accessible for investors in general. We have another post saying, join us in building the future. You can now invest directly in Red Swan. Be part of our journey as we continue to build the world's largest tokenized commercial real estate platform, giving people access to create wealth. So you can now invest, and all what you have to do is go onto their marketplace website. So congratulations, because they're using the Hedera platform to do this. And some people are talking about the price action for Hbar, which I completely understand. Yes, we are underrated. Yes, we are not at 10 cents. We are not higher than we thought we could potentially be, but we are seeing real world use cases coming in and utility for Hedera. People are using it, and not only that, we've seen more partnerships, but we are not a meme coin, and we will only be growing in 2024. And this is a second major announcement that also came. You'll see over here that Red Swan secured a $4 billion real estate portfolio in the Global Governing Council to onboard and distribute onto the blockchain. This transaction is evidence of the global adoption of real-world asset tokenization, and we are leading the way. So not only is it good for Red Swan that they have this $4 billion real estate portfolio, but it will be distributed onto the blockchain, meaning Hedera. And so it's going to be built on Hedera, meaning that this $4 billion portfolio is going to give a lot of opportunity for them to be able to tokenize their assets. And this just goes to show the demand for real-world asset tokenization. They are only just getting started, and $4 billion is quite a big number, right, for their portfolio. We're not even talking 1 million, 10 million, or even 20 million. This is some real investment, and it really goes to show that they decided to pick Hedera over other platforms. So again, really good news that they have announced. Now we do have a tweet from Charles Adkins, and he talks about this concept, saying that the blockchain-based pet ownership and care records are something that Hedera could potentially help with. So we have utilizing tokens to represent pet ownership and medical records. Smart contracts manage vet appointments, medication schedules, and ownership transfers, with Hedera consensus services ensuring secure and up-to-date pet records. And as we know, when it comes to pets, a lot of them do need appointments throughout the year, but not only that, they do need medication on a continual basis, and so they will be able to see their records with that. And I believe that the pet industry is worth about $5.9 billion in the UK, and so there is a lot of opportunity over there, but Hedera could provide a solution using their consensus services. Now before we have a look at the price action for today, I want to show you a few clips that I have picked out from this video. Now this is an interview with Abrdn. If you don't already know, Abrdn is one of the largest asset investment managers within the UK. I believe that their profit that they turned over last year was anywhere from $200 to $240 million, and you'll see over here that Abrdn began tokenizing its multi-billion flagship Abrdn Standard Liquidity Fund as real-world assets on Hedera. Also, it's very important to note that on the Global Governing Council, Abrdn is one of the only companies that are in the financial sector within that group, and I believe that the other companies are in different sectors, mainly such as technology or aviation, and so this really does stand out for Hedera. So let's take a look at the first clip that I have for you.
You must work closely together. Yeah, and I guess we catch up at least once a month, just to talk about what we can do to kind of further Hedera.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Anything in the pipeline that you can talk about, or?
We're working on a range of things, but we're really trying to I think dial in a framework to go and build use cases on Hedera outside of the council members, and part of that was tokenization. And through relationships with Archax, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, and DLA Piper Toko then got introduced to Hedera. We really made that decision to build on Hedera, to do tokenization on Hedera, and the council membership came later. It wasn't the driver for us to use Hedera. We'd already made that decision.
Right, okay.
And so they decided to pick Hedera for their real world asset tokenization, maybe before they even considered the fact of the council members. And you would think that a company as large as Abrdn would have done their research into Hedera in general. And this is why I believe that Hedera is very undervalued compared to other platforms. For Abrdn, we are essentially dealing with $1 billion company. They're going to have large funds. They're going to have many clients that are institutional investors. So it only makes sense that they have definitely seen the potential benefits in Hedera in general.
So does Abrdn have a use case at the moment on Hedera?
Yeah, so like our main use case is tokenization, and I guess that's what that would be the same for a lot of asset managers. Archak's a portfolio company of Abrdn, who are a UK regulated digital securities exchange, crypto exchange and custodian, tokenized their investment in our money market fund probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. Let's say we have a distribution agreement with them to allow them to go and sell that, so they can offer tokenized money markets in sterling and soon in dollar and euro to investors through their venue.
Okay.
And we're going to expand that, and we're going to do true securitization as well, where tokens on our mutual funds will trade on a secondary market basis through regulated exchanges.
And this is the main pinpoint when it comes to real world asset tokenizations. Not only will they be providing the real world assets to the private market, but having that secondary market and opens up the door to the public market, because it enables them to reach a different audience with individual investors like you and I. And essentially, not only will we be able to invest our money within that secondary market, but we will also be able to trade those assets as well.
But they can also invest in private equity and real estate, infrastructure, all these asset classes. Smaller institutional investors and individual investors cannot get access to all of these opportunities, because the ticket sizes the minimum ticket sizes are too big, because the liquidity is not right for them. So there might be private equity funds that require 5, 10, 15, 20 million minimum tickets. Not everyone's got that rattling around. Even the small institutional investors don't necessarily have that as to allocate with, and maybe they don't like the idea of a 10-year lockup. So what we can do is take, let's just use private equity because it's a simple example. Take a private equity fund and tokenize it, put it onto a secondary market. It's fractionalized, so instead of $10 million per ticket, you could have $10 million $1 tickets. Right? So
the returns are the same, relatively.
Yeah, exactly. If I had to think, probably the smaller the fractions are, there may be a premium to buy in at that, but I think you're still delivering a very good outcome to the investor, because they're getting something they just wouldn't have got in their portfolio. And now they have a secondary market to trade it on, so the liquidity aspect is less relevant.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, and that went live. That's live now.
So the money, so exactly. So the money market tokens are available through Archak's platform as of last week.
So as you can see from there, individual investors like you and I will be able to get access to these private equity funds that we wouldn't be able to do so before, because as he mentioned with the tickets, you'd have to put probably a minimum anywhere from $5 to $10 million, and it does depend ranging on the fund itself, but we wouldn't be able to front that money. So it would make more sense if they were able to tokenize that private equity fund, create 10 million tickets at, for example, $1 each or £1, and then you and I will be able to buy that. And not only that, we will also be able to trade it on the secondary market, and so it does make the asset more liquid. And I think that this is definitely something that would be good in our portfolio, not only with cryptocurrency in general, but when it comes to tokenization, we will be able to hold crypto coins, and we will also be able to hold real world assets that we have in our portfolio. And I think that it is only opening up the doors. And he also mentioned the fact that they just went live last week, and so you are able to actually buy these tokens. And so that is a really good interview that we have over here with Duncan Moore. So shout out to Emma Walker Williams for providing this information information to us. Now let's have a look at the price action today for H-bar. We are currently trading at 0.08557. We are down by 3.46% on the 1-day chart. On the 24-hour volume, we are up by 3.61%, and we are trading at $54.3 million. So the low that we went for the day was 0.08414. So we actually went below that mid-range of the 8-cent level. However, we have just come up a little bit as of now. For the 7-day chart, we are down by 5%. As you can see, we have come down since the 29th of December from that 0.09095, and we actually came down to 0.08634. We were actually able to take a little rally to 0.0889, but we weren't able to close up and above that 9-cent level, and so we have now made a newer low for H-bar. We weren't able to manage to close 9 cents just before the end of the new year, but I definitely want to see H-bar be able to get to that 9-cent level, and so then we can continue on to the 10-cent price target. Guys, if you want daily Hedera Hbar coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.